In this video, I want to talk about why many companies actually struggle to implement AI within their business. And it's all because of that one single thing that people think about when they're trying to use AI, and they're all trying to be fancy. And I have a message for everybody out there that owns a business and is trying to implement AI. Stop trying to be fancy with it. And what do I mean with that? Well, reports indicate that a lot of businesses struggle to actually implement AI because of that. Because of the fact that they see AI as like the best new thing, it's a trend and everybody wants a piece of it, but they don't really know what to do with it, or they see it like a fancy tool. They see it like, oh my God, we can do a lot of great things with this. And they go ahead and use ChatGPT, for example, and start prompting and typing things in. And all what they get is actually just generic responses, generic things from the AI. And at a certain point, that actually stops being good. I mean, that stops being practical. And I think that's the point where a lot of people, a lot of business owners miss the mark by actually using AI in a practical way. And in this video, I want to show you a couple of examples of what I mean with that and how you can actually solve that, what you should do to make sure that AI actually helps your business and it's not just another gimmick, another thing that everybody's using and you should do as well, right? Because one thing is clear, like if you want to be ahead of the competition, you should use AI, but you should use it in a way that actually helps you get ahead of the competition, and not so much that, well, if you just say like, I'm just using it, that by itself will not be enough. And this is where a lot of people, again, go wrong. They start using it and it's not really helping them move forward, or they delegate this stuff to employees because, you know, the younger employees, they use AI already, they know how to do it. But even there, people start using it, or their employees start using it, and the results are subpar. The results are not what they should be. And I have a problem with that. I have a problem also with a lot of those kind of new agencies, the AI agencies that are coming out, that are starting because, well, they use ChatGPT and then suddenly they are an agency. And it's hurting the business, or it's hurting the industry. It's hurting AI as well, or the implementation, the adoption of AI within businesses. A lot of agencies, a lot of people out there trying to use AI as a way to help them create documents, create content, create a lot of these kind of things, or inputting a large chunk of text, trying to summarize all of these things, which is great. I mean, that's what it's definitely used for as well. But if you really want to get ahead using AI, I think you really need to have a strategy in place. You really need to have something in place that can actually enhance what you're already doing, enhancing it with AI. And how you should do that, well, that's really what you need to figure out. And if I see a lot of these examples out there that are trying to do that, again, many of them are just trying to be fancy. For example, I see people using ChatGPT, for example, to create content pieces. Yes, okay, that can help you, that can accelerate some of these actions that you're doing, but you cannot just copy paste those things, right? Because it's just too generic, first of all. If you don't want it to be more generic, then you have to add more of your data within ChatGPT or within any other AI tool to make sure that the results that you're getting are more tailored to your business. So that's something you need to take into account. Now, what I have a problem with, and what a lot of people have problems with to make it practical, is the fact that while it actually saves you a lot of time to create some of these pieces and to create some of these ideas, to transfer that into an actual practical business process, that's a whole other thing. And that's where a lot of people stop. That's where a lot of agencies stop. That's where a lot of people that know how to use ChatGPT stop. They don't go further than that because they don't know how to, because it's too time intensive, because it's too difficult. All of these kind of factors play a role why people stop there. And the fact that they stop there makes it that, well, using AI within a business is useful to a certain point, and then beyond that, it's just not worth the time anymore. Because if you keep copy pasting the results from large language model, from ChatGPT, from Gemini, from whatever tool that you're using to create some of these results, if you keep doing these things manually, like, okay, well, what's the big advantage besides the time invest or the time that you can win back by generating these things? Fine, okay. But again, we're doing business here, right? I'm talking about business owners that want to enhance what they do with AI. And one of the big pieces, as it has been a long time, if you want to get ahead, if you want to build something within your business that can actually create value, right, that can actually create a return on investment, you need to make sure that what you do saves you time and money, right? If it doesn't save you time, if it doesn't save you money, I don't know, might not be the best investment. If it can also accelerate or streamline your business processes, that's how you should look at it as well. So saving time, saving money, streamlining business processes, making the job of your employees easier, making your job easier, that's the goal here, right? And again, if you're looking at that, and if you think about how you use, or how many people use AI right now, like with ChatGPT, they might save time. Do they save money? I don't know, maybe. Do they streamline their business processes? Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think so, because where does that fit within your business process? That's a question you need to ask yourself. That you need to answer that question before you actually know if that's actually enhancing your business, yes or no. And in many cases, it's not really actually streamlining your business. I think where you need to evolve as a business owner is you need to think beyond just using something like ChatGPT to create some of these accelerated results. You need to think in terms of processes, in terms of accelerating, streamlining, saving time on executing these processes. And if we think about that, you have to be honest, I have to be honest, and I think a lot of these AI agencies out there also need to be honest. The only way to really do that is through automation, is through business process automation. And again, it's not trying to be fancy here, because I also see like a lot of these automations out there that are trying to create social media content that tries to automate your Instagram profile, your LinkedIn profile, the outreach, all of these kind of things. Again, all of these things, all of these automations are very fancy, but are they practical? Are they actually practical for your business? Again, do they save time? Do they save you money? And does it streamline your business processes? And again, in many cases, these kind of fancy automations do not streamline your business processes. So whatever you do to try to be fancy with AI, stop right now. Stop trying to be fancy. Think about it. Have really a core team that sits together and thinks about like, okay, what are our business processes? How can we improve, streamline, save some time on these business processes using AI, using automation? Then you will create some better answers, some better automations that can actually help your business, that can actually make your business future-proof and get ahead of the competition, because that's what we want. We want to stay ahead. We want to be future-proof, because if you're not thinking like that, you're going to be left behind. And the ones that are left behind, they fizzle out, they just disappear, right? And if you're a business owner, you don't want that, right? So with this video, I really want to give you the advice, right? To really think about using AI in a practical way. When I was doing some research for this video, and when I was looking through like TikTok and Instagram to see what kind of content that is created around these kind of automations, a lot of the fancy automations are very popular, right? Yeah, use ChatGPT to create your content and so on and so on. And I was listing it out here as well. But is it practical, right? So, for example, creating content ideas based on a blog from a company. That is a fancy automation that you can do, but how can you really make it practical? And this is an example that I'm building now for one of our customers as well. And where it takes that blog maybe, and it kind of creates content ideas, but it goes beyond that. It creates this whole stream of actions automated using AI. So in the end, as a business owner or as a marketing manager, the only thing that you need to input is maybe just the blog URL. And from there, it creates the content plan, it creates the drafts, it actually publishes it to the website, and so on and so on. So that piece actually becomes more practical because it can save time, it can streamline your business processes. You could even add notifications, approval flows to it. Only then, if you do all of these extra things within your automation, then I would believe it becomes more practical to use it. Not just going into ChatGPT and putting in a URL of a blog post and asking it to create like a content plan or whatever. That by itself, while it might save you some time to come up with ideas, again, the point is that you want to streamline your business processes and not just generate another generic response that you still have to talk about with your colleagues and come up with more ideas, or do it again in ChatGPT because the result was subpar. You have to prompt it again, you have to increase the prompting and blah, blah, blah. That process might even slow you down. So I don't like that. I don't like that people glorify these kind of ways of using ChatGPT. So I would advise against it. I wouldn't do that, right? I would really think about beyond that, how to make it more practical. Another example that I see as well, if we're talking about automations then, is that people that start using no-code tools like Zapier, Make.com, once they start using it, once they get accustomed with it, then they call themselves suddenly an AI specialist, an AI expert. Okay, and then they start creating automations, fine, but they start creating automations that are like 20, 30, 40, 50 steps within that kind of automation to seem like it's really complicated. So they want to show off and to just show like what they can do and how fancy it is and how cool it is. Again, awesome if you can do that, but what is the actual practical implementation? Not just the result of the automation, but how does it relate to your business process? Because if you implement this automation and the result is just one piece of the full business process, but that one piece still needs to be copied to an Excel sheet, has to be copied to an email, and still people need to, if you build out that full kind of automation just to get one result within one of the steps of your business process, I don't know. I would rather think about the bigger picture, and making sure that, well, instead of building an automation of 20, 30 steps for one piece of the puzzle, think bigger, right? Maybe it's not necessary to build that kind of automation. Maybe there are tools within your business that just can integrate, or there are already tools out there that can do what that kind of automation that you would build yourself can do, right? I'm not a fan of just building for the sake of it. The point is that it should actually enhance what you do and not just slow everything down. So that's something, again, you have to really be careful when you step into some of these kind of things. So I hope that makes the point a little bit. What do I want you to get from this video as value is that if you see AI as just a fancy tool that can do cool things within your business and that your employees start using and they can generate cool things, awesome. But think beyond that. If you want to have a business, a profitable business, a streamlined business, then you have to think like that. It's not just AI that will help you get there. It's also thinking about the business processes, the systems, the people, the results. All of this has to come together and make sense, right? Start there, right? And then you can think about it. If you have your business processes mapped out, if you know exactly what kind of pieces could be streamlined using AI, using automation, start there and then build on top of that. As with anything, if you're building a business, the whole thing is that you shouldn't try to be fancy, because business building, in its sense, is all about doing the kind of boring stuff again and again and again. And anybody that tries to be fancy is just losing time. The shiny object syndrome is real, definitely with AI, with everything that is coming out there. All these kind of AI tools do all of these kind of cool things, but how does it help your business process? Think about that next time you go for the next tool, when you go for the next AI business process automation and so